Abusuafo mpanyifo kan omo asem bi se asem hoi empeni pa na mbom nipa e na pene ho asem. Na Dr. Zaato de wose sa asem na mpanyifo e kan ye no omo anka amma no. Nti wono no de akoka ntokwa bi a menua ye de ama no woto. His Excellency Dramani Mahama ni nua Ibrahim Mahama mining concession ya ye de ama no yi. E na Dr. Zaato wakodi hu nkomo. As we watch some of the NDC members ne omo supporters no omo ye very hypocritical. Because na na do kwa kufuado na penso a ankomo be kasa atia adenti na anya na do na akoye Mahama omo support eho na Solomon Owusu a woye UP member wone Abass Nurudeen a wono so woye NDC ni omo say Dr. Zaato gina ho na de bayi eye wo de omo de ama no woto na asem ko me pese mi bisa be brother bi wo bisa sa asem no me pese ye tie just a second. The question now will be Sam George. Ewo asolidan bi mu no. Na mi wia Sam George anu yiri de me fa end to aso because utie kra obo ebefu Sam George. Na the question na brother the question na will be say no na mpese ye mienu. Ana se wo a wo hwe mi ne wo etie sa question no na ye wia me de wo videos no ato aso say politicians in this country they can think for themselves and say political party no mo dwen no. Eho ene wo se omo kire omo adwen e de kwana. Politicians say wo opposition na omo nsem ombeka different omo ba ban mu so omo nsem ombeka different NDC and NPP they are the same difference bia enim nti yen na ye ti omo na se ye na edu omo chi no ye ha dwen na omo di edi agro e wo Ghana mem ha ye nti question na ye brother ba ko bisa Sam George ye wia medical videos no e beto aso e di amount na ye nti be se ye tie sa question no me pese sa question no e guide throughout the video no me na wo tie video no Unya, meda wasi. Unya unsubscribe ya meso say subscribe. Like video if mama na share e ma wodebi no so unya bi. Ewe. Unya unsubscribe ya meso subscribe. Comment biara won just go to the comment section. Na twuru ni na for go e ma me na mbona biara enye kama. Nyankopon hira wo. Meda wasi.
Honorable Sam George, please, I would like to ask a question. I want to know why are most politicians inconsistent? Well, why are most politicians inconsistent? I'm asking this because when we are in power, we support almost everything. But when we go to opposition, the very thing that we were in support of, we come back being against it. So please help us. Why are politicians inconsistent? Thank you.
The people are weaponizing hypocrisy, and they are taking hypocrisy to what? To plutonium levels. Yesterday, you were against data bank doing business with government. Agreed. Because conflict of interest, blah, blah, blah. Today, you are all cool and chill with EMP doing business with government. That is hypocrisy. That is not principled. And I am saying that sometimes in our governance, we need principles. Because when you do it, it means that you are just muddling through. Men and women should be able to stand on principles and say that for this is wrong. If yesterday you condemned a data bank, today you cannot be praising EMP.
First of all, I've listened to Zaato and then Aaron, and I don't know where, as a matter of fact, what their position really is. Because if you agree that you don't have any problem with it, then it ends there.
I don't understand.
This roller coaster, this one goes to South Korea, brings us to the US, estimates flying times, amount paid, is to achieve what?
You mean the planes being sighted? And
totally needless. Now you go to Zaato, then he tells you that we have weaponized hypocrisy. If we have weaponized hypocrisy, then the most hypocritic persons are you and him. Because if your position yesterday regarding data bank was that it was a good deal, then you must not have any contrary view today.
No, you are wrong.
Oh, please.
Oh, Zaato. I have a lot to say.
You have a very large file, white paper, a good pen.
I said I'm tempted. I've missed the show.
Please. Let's not adopt the tactics of trying to interject our compatriots when they are making it. I hope I have your cooperation.
You do.
Please go ahead.
You do.
So the most hypocritic personalities I've ever encountered in my life, ever since I started doing radio and TV, has to do with these two, Zaato and Aaron. And it's so unfair. It is so also unfair. And this morning, in all sincerity, I'm saddened. So unfair to the integrity, the credibility of Dr. Yereku sitting here. Because his integrity has been impugned.
Mr. Yereku, he's just a lawyer.
Yeah,
Not just, but a distinguished lawyer.
His integrity has been impugned. You heard Zaato say that he wasn't too sure whether informations regarding the tender were even leaked. You have the man here. Unfortunately, you started with him.
For good reason.
He walked you through the processes. I listened to him live on TV, giving us the technical marks as well as the financial. We were told that if you were not up to 80%, you couldn't cross with the financial bit. By the way, who in this country, if we are going to be sincere, and I've said that ever since we dealt with COVID, I'm not going to do this ghanapolitics, my kids are growing. It is better we fix this country. Who in this country does not know that Ibrahim Mahama is involved in mining? Who in this country does not know that EMP has been involved in mining? Look, 25th of March 2026, when the president of this land went to the UN and filed that motion on reparation, I've always said that for us to believe in that reparation must start from Ghana. Are you happy that for more than 100 years that we have been embarking on mining in this country, we cannot boast of a single indigenous mining company mining in our name? The Dramani mines, when did they start operation? Is it not 1997? For 30 solid years, you are gold-free South Africa, shipping the monies out of this country to South Africa, and we are the nemesis of this country.
And what EMP was a subcontractor.
They have been the largest subcontractor. They come to this country. What they do is that, under the guise of bringing capital, they come and use our local contractors to mine our gold, and they ship it out, and you people are not worried as New Patriotic Party members. You come and sit here in one breath, we don't have a problem. It's a lie. They have a total problem with it.
You can't make those.
They have absolutely, it's going to go against them. Some of us are going to go back to the Ghanaian and tell them come 2028. But if you want this country to develop, the least or the last political party you must be thinking about is the New Patriotic Party, because they don't wish as well. Then it goes to feed into the narrative when Kwame Nkrumah was saying that independence now, and they were saying that no, within the shortest possible time. Everything we must take into the foreign land. Is that the sense that we want to make out of this country? Look, my only difficulty in terms of the presentation, as I heard from Dr. Ayoko and his group, was that Mr. Ayoko was going to rely on foreign banks to support them.
So
after and then what?
NIB and
you must have Ghana Commercial Bank in there. What are they doing? Lazy banking. The largest bank in this country, you are not taking advantage of this gracious and glorious opportunity. By the way, who gave Aaron the advice that it will take you a week for you to establish a letter of credit or guarantee? It can be done under 12 hours, just 6 minutes. It can even be done under 6 minutes, depending on the credibility of the company. There is no facts about that. Don't let people mislead you. And whoever did that has done a great disservice to you. For you to come on the live television and spew this
letter of guarantee,
letter of guarantee or letter of credit, it can be done under 10 minutes, depending on the company's relationship with the bank. When the bank sees that there is that the business is that good, they have that working relationship with you.
Business case, the cost benefits analysis.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why must they waste time? It is not in any bank's interest to waste time on a juicy business. Look, the last time I checked, the Dramani mine has about 3.5 million ounces of gold. Now, if we are going to use today's rate of an ounce, hovering around 4,700, you are talking about $16 billion worth of an asset that a Ghanaian has been given.
There's a conflict of interest. Planes have been used. Of course, Jata plane has been even before 2025 for example.
Roland, you see, I'm very scandalized by the level.
You have just 3 minutes, sir.
I don't want to say legal ignorance displayed by my brother. Is a law student. He's here to become he's here to become a lawyer.
Please,
Dr. Zaato, yes, Dr. Zaato is a fine academic. You see,
please, let's not attack.
What is conflict of interest? Okay. When a public officer places himself in a position that more or less derives him private gains. Is Ibrahim Mahama a public officer? Is Ibrahim Mahama a private?
His brother is the president.
No, but Ibrahim Mahama, apart from the fact that his brother is a president, you see, apart from the fact that his brother is a president, he is an individual distinct and separate from his brother. As a matter of fact, he has not occupied any public position. This is distinct from Ken Ofori-Atta, whose brother was a president and was still made a finance minister. So when Zaato compared data bank and EMP. It's like comparing apples with Alugun to win. There is no basis for comparison.
Alugun to win.
Yes. You see, the president has several other brothers who did business. He had one brother called Bumpty. He did a lot of businesses under Akufo-Addo. Did you hear anybody raise any issues of conflict? Because he was a private citizen. And the fact that your brother is president does not in any way extinguish your right to pursue your economic interests. Now, the president's brother is made finance minister. He owns a company called Enterprise Insurance Data Bank. Two of the directors, Ken Ofori-Atta, director finance minister, Kelly Gejepo, another director, made director of board chairman of ECG. And all of a sudden, the insurance deals that were going to a state-owned enterprise started going to enterprise insurance. This is a locus classicus.
But the point they made
I'm coming. This is a locus classicus of conflict of interest because...
Abass, Nurudeen, please, pointedly. The point they make of that is that it's the narrative of the NDC as a party that is now in government.
You see.
That smacks of hypocrisy.
You see, the point is that Ken Ofori-Atta...
And that you shouldn't have complained.
Ken Ofori-Atta was an active participant in the governance of Akufo-Addo. But you can't say same for Ibrahim Mahama. Ibrahim Mahama is a private citizen. If Ken Ofori-Atta has stayed out of the Akufo-Addo government and was doing his data bank and enterprise insurance business, would anybody have complained? So when we raise issues about Ken Ofori-Atta, it was not because data bank, which is an enterprise insurance, which he has interest in, were doing business. It was because he was superintending over a financial sector of which his companies were players, and decisions were being made that gave unfavorable advantage to his companies. So if you come and raise issues of conflict of interest about a private citizen who was doing his business anyway under the MPP, was Ibrahim Mahama not the main contractor for Go Fees? How did that also raise an issue of conflict of interest? So Aaron, you are learning to be a lawyer. If you want to quote proper legal principles, quote it rightly. Issues of conflict arise when you are a public officer and you act in a way that you use your private office, your public office for private gains. Ibrahim Mahama has never held any public office before. He's a private businessman, and the business he is doing is actually in his line of the line of business that he has been doing for the past 30 years. You get up, and now you raise that. The only example you could give to buttress your issue of conflict of interest is because President Mahama used Ibrahim Mahama's jet to Korea. My goodness, President Mahama has been, President Mahama has been using Ibrahim Mahama's jet since 2020. What did President Mahama in opposition give in return when he was using Ibrahim Mahama's jet across the West African sub-region? As a matter of fact, when he became president, before he was sworn in, you know, he toured the West African sub-region. It was Ibrahim Mahama's jet he used. What did he give in return? Quite apart from that, recently, the Asantehene used Ibrahim Mahama's jet to South Africa. What did Asantehene give in return to use Ibrahim Mahama's jet? You see, that is how absurd. That is the paucity. That is the paucity of reasoning in Aaron's attempt to link the president's use of Ibrahim Mahama's jet to the issue of conflict of interest. Because Ibrahim Mahama is a private businessman with his own group of friends. There are instances where the likes of Sir Sam Jonah and our others have used his jet for their personal travels. What did they give in return in order to use the jet? Does that also raise an issue of conflict of interest? I think we need to elevate the discourse. We need not come on a platform like this and quote legal principles and turn it on their head. Now, you see, what Aaron and Zaato are doing is indicting their own government that started this process.
I don't understand.
You see, but for the no objection granted by Abu Jinapo, by this whole thing wouldn't have proceeded if the government had not given, and in fact, if you read paragraph 3 of the letter, the MPP government vowed for the technical capacity and operational competence of Ibrahim Mahama. Read paragraph 3 of that letter. So I think you guys, you don't need to compare apples with oranges. Ibrahim Mahama is a private businessman. He's been doing business for the past 30 years. He is different and distinct from his brother, who is the president. This is completely different from Ken Oforiatta, who was the brother of the president, was made finance minister, and his companies, Reverend Ogwami, who was working with Databank, was made chairman of SEC. So they took over the financial sector, and after that, SIC, which is a state insurance company, all their deals started going to their enterprise insurance. If you raise this issue of conflict and you want to equalize with this Ibrahim, I think it's very
3 minutes
unfortunate.
for you to